Hello. Hi, everybody. This is Larvetta. It's been a while since I've been doing Crisis Currency Roundtable, but I am super excited to return. We are in season 2 of the podcast, and we are at episode 3. So, for those of you all that have been following us and want to continue or follow us, please go to our website and check out additional podcasts on crisis currency roundtable. So I'm Larvetta Lofton. I'm the founder of the L3 agency. We started the roundtable specifically to ensure that entrepreneurs, thought leaders, business owners would know how to pivot in this crisis. Well, we're at the end of the year. Believe it or not, we started in March. No, in April. And now we're at the end of the year of this crisis, and we're still in a crisis. But we know that people have pivoted and their businesses are growing, and these are Black businesses that are growing, and they are doing some amazing work. So I am excited about bringing all of these wonderful Black girl magic entrepreneurs into the roundtable this evening. This evening is special. We are at the holiday time, so I've got my favorite beverage. They're going to show their favorite beverage, and we're just going to have fun this evening, wherever you are, because it is evening time for the most part, or afternoon, or for some places it might be nighttime. But needless to say, we are excited. Please, please, please subscribe to the channel. Well, you'll get more content and learn about Crisis Currency Roundtable. So I typically open up the roundtable with what brings me joy, and I feature a business that has given me joy through this crisis. So today, my what's bringing me joy is that I get to bring Black women to the table today. And these are women that own their own tables. They own their own passions and businesses, and I'm super super excited and joyful to be at the table with them and to learn about how they're pivoting and how they are growing and dreaming big in this pandemic. So I want to begin by introducing you to our first guest. My first guest that's actually pregnant. You guys don't see it, but I'm excited to bring her. This is Krista Shavers to the round table. Hey, Krista, take yourself off mute. Okay, you're not on mute. Yay! I wanted to make sure you were on mute. How are you, beautiful?
I'm well. How about yourself? Thanks for having me.
Yay! And you're glowing. You know that, right? Folks don't know that you're pregnant because we're basically going from the waist up, so they don't know that. But we know it. We just dropped it on the. You're my first prego, so now we have an honorary member that's going to be born somewhere in March of 2021. So we'll have to somehow bring her back. So my next guest is my sister, who I am just so delighted to have at the table because sometimes I can't get her, Miss Ingrid Lavonne, to the round table. Hey,
Hi. Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited about this afternoon.
Me too. And we've been talking about having you on and we couldn't figure it out because you are busy. That's what that was. Yeah.
That's okay. We are here.
You here. But know that I've been wanting to get you. So the fact that I got you on your last day, technically, yes, you're going on vacation. That's what you said. She said it on here that today was going to be her last day of work. That's what she said. That's what she said, y'all. That's what she said. Okay. So my next guest I want to bring up is my sister, Teresa, who is the owner of, hold on, bring you up. Are you in? There you go.
There we go.
Caldion. Hey, Teresa.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the opportunity to showcase my business, and thank you for the opportunity to be able to use your platform with these other dynamic women, with Krista and Ingrid, and we have Chef Tiffany, and there's a lawyer that's going to be on. So I am grateful to be amongst all of these beautiful women.
And that's what today, this is what brings me joy today, is the fact that I get to be here with all y'all. All this Black girl magic, I can't do nothing but win for the rest of this year. So next I have
Lavonne.
yes.
Happy belated birthday. You just had a birthday.
Thank you, y'all. Yes. So I'm still celebrating. You know, us Sagittarius, we just celebrate
The whole month.
for the whole month. Exactly. And then we kind of bum rush the Capricorns. You know, Ingrid's Capricorn, you know, then we bum rush the Capricorns and be like, yep, we want some of that too.
Aquarius.
So, huh? What you say? Oh, Aquarius. I'm sorry. Aquarius.
I'm on the cusp.
Sorry. You know, but it's coming up. It's coming up. Because when is your birthday? When's your birthday?
The 21st, in less than 40 days.
Wow.
So, wait, so Ingrid, you're at the cuff of Aquarius, right? Are you at the?
I am on the cusp. Yeah, the 21st is, so I'm kind of half Capricorn, half Aquarius.
So I didn't, because I see Capricorn.
You might get a little Capricorn, and the other day you might get a little Aquarius.
That's all right. That's all right. Because I know you as Capricorn. It's funny because that's what I see, but you know, only because I, you know, characteristics wise, but I could see a little bit of Aquarius. My brother's Aquarius, so I could definitely see it. He's a sweetie pie. So next I have Chef Tiffany. She is coming in the building. Hey, Tiff. It's so nice to see you again because you are our second. You've been on the show twice. Yes. We can't hear you, Tiffany. I think you're muted. I just want to make sure.
I'm muted. Hey, everybody.
Yeah. Tiffany got something to say. You know, when she comes with
How many times have you been on and you're like, you're muted?
Well, you know, with technology, girls, you know, that's what happens. You're just talking away. And then everybody's like, you're muted. So welcome. Last but certainly not least is Miss Lady Primus is in the building with us. Tanya. Hello, darling. And she is our attorney. She is the attorney. Let me say this. She's not my attorney, but she is the attorney. Let's be clear. Let me make sure everybody knows that she is the attorney. So one of the things I do want to do, guys, you know, is go around, introduce yourselves. Obviously, I've given, you know, an opportunity for you all to be introduced. But what I do want to do, and I'm just going to go backwards, is Tanya, just introduce yourself, your business, your role. And again, this is fun, right? So, you know, we're going to start with a little bit of fun, and then we're going to start with some business, because I just believe that these women really do have fun in their business. They really do have fun in their business. And so I want to make sure that people understand that in this pandemic, I feel like we've lost fun because we've all had to be robbed. And we're going to talk a little bit about this collective displacement, because I think it's a topic that is an important topic, especially going into 2021. But Tanya, if you could just introduce yourself. What's your role? Your business is approaching. We talked about it. It's 2005 you guys started in 2005 here in Chicago. So just give a short, brief bio of yourself. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
See?
I know.
Not the only one, Tiffany.
That's all right. It's okay. It's all right. Uh-oh. Wait. You're muted. And I can't. Let me see if I can unmute you. I can't. You're muted. Uh-oh.
It might be her microphone. It doesn't look like she's muted. She's
Okay,
There you go.
muted.
There you go. That's all right. You just wait for everybody to get ready. That's all. You wait for
Well, now, I first have to say, Larvetta, let me tell you, most people don't know. I've known Larvetta through a mutual friend, but we had an opportunity to do some business together. And I loved it. And I did some business with Tiffany also. And bringing us all together right now is just the beauty of what we have been missing for so long. And I'm just so grateful, right? And I felt empowered in every step of the way, knowing I had my sisters with me. We were growing, building, changing, making, different decisions, but we were all doing it together. And there's something so beautifully empowering about it all. And so I just have to say thank you for bringing us all together tonight. Yeah. I couldn't imagine any other place I'd but I have to say that, so I'm a lawyer by trade, and Larvetta helped me to realize this. I have not had a job in 19 years. When she told me she had a 20th year anniversary, I said, wait, my 20-year anniversary is coming up next year. I started off as a lawyer working at a law firm, and I had my own law practice. I decided to go to Puerto Rico to a lawyer's conference, met a cute guy, figured I'd date him for a while and that would be great. Well, he's now my husband. I'm now here in Chicago. And
Love can do that to you. Love can do that to you, Zion.
Packed up and moved it on out. And I stopped my law practice, closed my law practice in DC. He started an orthopedic surgery practice in 2007. And then I started to work with him. And then he also started wanted to start a sports multiplex. So he started a sports multiplex. And I said, you know, this is wonderful. All the things he's doing are wonderful. And my background is real estate. And I said, I need to start a real estate management company. I need to get a piece of this business, right? Whatever all the businesses that we have, I need to figure out where my place is and what is important to me. And so I started a real estate management company. So through our practices, I do a lot of our finances. I'm the CFO. And I also do the real estate and the management and the legal aspect of it. But let me tell you how I will say, at the end of the day, I enjoy what I do because I'm building a legacy for my family, for generations to come. And that's what's so important to me. And to be able to get out there and learn so much from business and from the law, right? And to be able to bring that to my children, to talk to them, not just about how their day was, but I actually go to my children and say, look, I got this situation. How would you negotiate this? I actually do that. That's one of the things I've learned during this time period with being at home with them. I've decided them to not only to spend time with them about things that are important to them, but this is important to me. So let's talk about business. You're going to learn this from me.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
That's good.
And I think that they tell you the truth. They tell you the truth.
They do.
That's why I keep young people around me, because they do. I do. I believe in keeping you. I don't have any kids, y'all know that, but I keep young people because they do tell you the truth, and I appreciate that.
And the good thing about young people too is they give you a simple approach to attack things. We think things are so complicated. A child will look at it and be like, only thing you have to do is A, B, and C, and it's over with.
Yeah, that's cool. And I wonder, do we get in our own way, right? Are we talking ourselves out? And sometimes that's what prevents us from launching. I think a lot of times because we are in our heads, right? And young people are like, no, just turn left right there. Like, forget it, turn left. Just turn left. So I think that's important. Chef Tiffany, introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm gonna get off of mute. Am I on mute? All right. So Chef Tiffany Williams, I am the owner of Exquisite Catering and Events and the new Exquisite 501, located here in Woodlawn. We should be opening, we should be opening in January. So I got a new baby too.
Yes, you do. You have
I have a new baby too. We are excited to be opening to the public. We're expanding our services to now offer coffee and breakfast and things that you can get daily from us, and we're super excited about it. I've been in the industry for 20 years, everything from fine dining to fast casual to backstage catering. I've traveled on the road as a chef, as a contractor chef, a knife for hire, as we like to say, with people like Beyonce and Jay-Z, if you know them. Locally here with Chance the Rapper, locally here with as head chef for Lollapalooza for a couple of years. So I love international cuisine. I love to teach people about culture through cuisine. So everything that's going on right now in the world, I'm like, this is a learning experience. So let me teach you about it through food. So this fits right into what I love to do. And I'm excited to still be here through the pandemic and be able to grow through it.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit, the fact that, you know, for you, Tiffany, you actually are opening up. So some people are closing down.
Yes.
And so we get to celebrate that. And for many of you all have launched these businesses, which is why we started Crisis Currency Roundtable, because we did not want Black businesses to not be part of the conversation around wealth, right? So many businesses were started in the financial crisis of 2008. There were so many. Airbnb, number one, blew up. And so, but what I found was that it wasn't enough businesses, Black businesses, in that discussion. So Why can't we have a place where we can talk about, no, my business tripled, my business or my business was started, or my business expanded. Like, we need to have those conversations. So I'm going to jump to Teresa, introduce yourself and your business, because I believe you launched this year too, right? At the beginning of this year.
It's actually the middle. So yeah, I did launch my organization at the middle of the year. So I'm Teresa McKelvey, the owner of the Cal Dion Boutique. I came up with that name because basically it's a hybrid of two of my siblings. So I have a brother named Calvin, and then I have a sister named Ray Dion. So I kind of put those names of my sibling to kind of do a hybrid, because everything that I came up with was already taken. So that's kind of where I got the name of the organization, because people are like, that's not your name. Where'd you come up with that? So it's a hybrid of two of my siblings. I started Cal Dion in May of this year. And I launched it and took it live in actually July. I took it live actually on the 4th of July. So I wanted to take that time to kind of build up, make sure that I was launching the business properly. And I reached out to all of my girlfriends. Larvetta was one that I reached out to just kind of make sure that I was doing this right. So this way, when you heard Cal Dion for the first time, you knew that you was going to go to a place where everything was going to work properly, right? The graphics were going to look great, and the product was going to be quality. So I wanted to make sure that I launched a quality project. And I feel like I did. And this has been a wonderful year for me. Of course, you don't want to recognize that there are a lot of people who the pandemic took a toll on, on their lives, and there are some struggles, and, people are losing their houses and their homes, but, just like Chef Tiffany, I'm grateful that, I was in a position to launch an organization in the middle of a global pandemic. So Cal Dion has been great, and we've been doing well since July 4th is when we actually went live for this organization.
Awesome.
And I will say for Teresa, and this is my my wheelhouse around e-commerce, right? And building something where we have a way for people to purchase. And, I'm not going to go into my vernacular because I talk about this all day long, but we really have to have an omni-channel. And so, for many of us, we were going into stores. Now we got to go into stores. We got to call. We got to go online. So you have to have these multiple channels. But for you to launch an online business, in that's important, because most businesses, even in 2020, in a pandemic, are still not launching an e-commerce business.
Yeah.
So for that, Teresa is dynamic. Okay. So
Thank you.
Next, I want Ingrid to introduce herself there. So Ingrid, please introduce yourself, my dear.
Hello. And Larvetta, again, thank you for bringing us all this beauty on Friday. I love it. Oh, and I did get my cocktail, by the way, so I'm ready to toast whenever you are. But I am Ingrid Lavonne. I am your resident corpreneur. I have been in corporate business finance for over 20 years, and I've been running my own consulting firm for next year in January. It'll actually be 10 years. So I have been running my own business and working in corporate at the same time for 10 years. And people ask me, well, how do you do it with a husband and a son and friends? And, I take care of my 89-year-old grandmother, and I tell people that's all I know. When I grew up with a big mom. I don't know how many people had a big mama out there, but my big mama had 7 jobs, and I didn't know it was called entrepreneurship. I just knew that she did a lot of stuff. And so she was a foster mother, and she made chicken dinners for the local post office, and she was a babysitter, and she was a caretaker. And I just saw her with her hands in so many different things. And she used to say, just help me with these numbers. And so by the age of 6, I was actually doing her books. And that's how I started in finance. And then I started running her numbers because she was also the local bookie. So I don't know how many people remember bet on the horses.
Come on, Grandma.
You had to have a spreadsheet. And so you would bet on the horses, boxing straight, and you had to go up to the little door and you would give the man the money with all the numbers. And I was the one that delivered the money with the numbers. And I would help her reconcile who won and who didn't and what her cut was. And so I was born into
That's awesome.
it's crazy. So yeah, I know I've been awarded a state if we were doing that now. But back then it was just a way of life. Yeah, I would have been a part of DCFS for sure because that was child abuse and everything, but I did it.
Yeah.
And so now I'm super excited because I was able to take my corporate finance expertise into Hollywood per se. And so, you know, a little Black girl raised by a single mom, now working with celebrities and small businesses and medium-sized businesses and helping make sure that they're profitable is now my mission. And so over the last 9 months, as you can imagine, I've been extremely busy because we have helped over 1,000 businesses get access to over $50 million in grants and funding. And now I'm in the phase where I'm helping all of them get their PPP forgiven. And so that's why I'm taking a break because we've been super busy, but super blessed because like Teresa and like you guys on the phone, businesses needed help. And the funding that was made available, you know, albeit if you received it legitimately, it was very needed. And the next phase that I'm hoping Congress approves, you know, over the weekend, I'm praying that they can approve it over the weekend, will help restaurants and the hospitality industry specifically get over the hump for the next 3 months until we can really see what's happening. So I'm very blessed to be a part of those decisions that are being made to help businesses get money. And I'm just, I'm blessed. This has been, while it's not been a great year for many, it's been a really good year for me personally, but also just because I've been able to help so many people.
I love it.
Blessing.
This is why the Crisis and Currency Roundtable was specifically created so that we can share that there are businesses that are growing. And Ingrid told that we are not, again, that we're part of the table. And the one thing that I'm learning is that not just being a part, but own the table that we're in. And so that's so important. It's making sure that not only are we there, but do we own our own rights, right? We have to own our IP. Do we own everything that it is about our business? We don't know that. And I think that's one of the things we have to learn in 2021 is how to
You have to protect it. You have to trademark it where appropriate. Can't be out there running broke businesses, looking really rich and really being broke. I you know, that is probably my pet peeve. But it's a lot of money to be had. I tell my clients during this pandemic, either you're going to be a millionaire, a billionaire, or a witness, and you choose which one are you. And so I choose the billionaire status. So work, and I'm going to take advantage and build relationships and nurture friendships and all these ladies on the phone, and we all collaborate and we make it happen for each other.
I love it.
Yes.
I love
I'm
it.
looking forward.
I'm here for all of that. Krista,
Right.
you are up next. Introduce yourself, my dear, and tell us a little bit about, I know you are pivoting, which I love that because we should all be. I feel like I'm the queen of pivot, but that's just me. So go right ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, well, hello. My name is Krista Shavers. I'm the founder and executive producer for CS Media. This is actually my third business. I've been working in this space similar to Ingrid. My mother was one of those people who did a bunch of stuff and it wasn't labeled entrepreneur, but I was right there with her doing branding, marketing, communications, outreach, email marketing, all of that back in the late 90s and early 2000s. And then I was able to do that in a corporate space. So last year was my first time being an independent contractor, and doing that, I was able to create my own business and gain clients from interesting spaces, both from like startup small businesses to corporate clients. And that was really a blessing for my first year in business. The pandemic halted everything that I was doing. I was focusing a lot more on events. The pandemic ended that, and at first it was really disappointing, but I took this time this year to take a lot of courses and classes and get into masterminds and mentorship group organizations. And from that, I've been blessed. I've graduated from 2 programs, one is a Google program, and they actually just awarded us a grant to continue to build our initiatives, and they're supporting a lot of our work into 2021, our systems, our platforms and things. And also what I learned in this pandemic is service-based industries need to have products. So that's really how I'm launching into 2021, creating products to help service-based and mission-based organizations and brands launch new products and services.
Nice.
So I'm really excited about that.
Nice. And Krista, she can tell you a whole lot of her list. She just gave y'all a snapshot. I just want you all to know that a snapshot of what she does, because trust me, I've had the pleasure of working with Krista, and honey, she's got a wealth of information. So some of it may come out a little bit. I do want to talk, ladies, about this term, actually from one of my team members. She found this online. It's called collective displacement. And I thought it was a great topic, because one of the reasons why I want to talk is that this global pandemic has displaced us all in how and where we work, where we live, where we learn, where we shop, and where we play. And so it has literally, for some that were working from home, you know, obviously I work from home. But I also know that even though I work from home, I'm playing from home, right? I'm learning from home. I'm also shopping at home. And so I have literally been robbed. And so I wanted to talk to you all about, you know, how you as a person were displaced because, as a business leader, because I see all of you all as business leaders. You all are leading businesses, and people look up to you to be able to solve a problem, whatever that problem is. And so I do want to ask, you know, anyone who wants to like how you were displaced as a business. Like, let's just be honest, how you were displaced around this, because for some it's like, oh, work from home is just amazing, I'm loving it, right? And some are like, no, I'm tired and I don't want to do this and I want to get out, you know? And so really talking through that in your most authentic place.
I feel like I should start, right? Because that's the obvious. So, you know, I have 3 children at home. And so we have technically 3 businesses. 3 businesses. And they, you know, before they were requiring, I was going to court, I was going to meetings. And a lot of times people will call with conference calls and things that they need. And they will say, you know, well, do you want to give me a call back once you've gotten your child taken care of? And I said, well, do you want to call me back in 18 years? Because he's 3. Right? And so this is what my reality is. And so sometimes it's very difficult. And I think it's part of also because as a woman, you feel, or I have felt uncomfortable being in this space of trying to show my ability to manage a business and manage a family, because usually they're separate, right? In the state, in the sense that when you see a woman in the boardroom, she comes in with her suit, right? Her shoes, she doesn't have a baby attached to her. But then I realized this is my life. And you know what? I'm doing both of them, and I'm doing them rather well, quite honestly. There are challenges that come with them. But honestly, you know, there are times when it's really difficult. There were times in the beginning where I was running to any room in the house to close the door so that I could speak in private, to be able to have a conversation. But I said, you know what? This is what is happening right now. And so I need to be able to manage all of this. And it's important for me to talk to my children about the legacy we're building and why we're trying to do this. So for me, the isolation is the problem, right? Because I have a 3-year-old and we don't really like to take him out a whole lot. We don't really go and people or see people. So for me, that's the hard part. But as far as, you know, being at home, of course, I'd love the children to be at school, because it's still, you know, hard, you know, trying to manage their schoolwork and do this. But I believe it or not, I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but it has brought us a lot closer together to understand what we're all doing in our lives and our businesses. As I told you before, I talked to them about, how do I make this decision? Because one of the things you was talking about your mom, or Krista with your mom. My mom was the same way. I found a card, a business license. I said, wait, what's a business license? She was a teacher. She was like, I was selling Mary Kay and I had to have a business license. So I was on the free. I said, wait a minute, you had a business license? And so just to think about that, and I'll take it even further back to our ancestors. I think about what they all went through. This is nothing. Right? Nothing. And we stand on their shoulders. If they could see what we are building, what we are creating, they would be so proud.
Yes.
Yeah. And very similar to Tanya, I have a 10-year-old. And so when I think of collective displacement, I think more so from his standpoint, because he really needs to be at school in his environment, becoming that leader. And so I feel like I've had to create leadership opportunities for him at home. So he has like little tasks in the business. I'm surprised he hasn't come in because he does my lighting and my technology. And, as being in finance, of course, I know that I can hire him. So he is an employee of my company.
That's
and
right.
oh, by the way, that's a tax write-off, Krista.
Yes.
It's a tax write-off.
Yes, it is.
But all that being said, that's been a little bit challenging. But I have to secretly admit, guys, that I needed this to happen for me. Being on the road consistently, and when I say consistently, whether it's for my corporate job within the region or for my clients that are either in New York or LA, I was always between Chicago, LA, New York, and it's been good. It wasn't an award show. It wasn't a seminar or big event that we had to participate in. And so this has really given me a chance to sit down. But I think the biggest blessing is I'm newly married, or I should say new, because we've been married 2 years. And I realized that I married my best friend. Like, we are having such a good time quarantine. Now, you might have to ask him. That's my version. My version. But no, seriously, we have had the best time getting to know each other during this time, right? And even like, I lost my mom last year. He lost his dad last year. So our marriage has been through a lot from an external perspective, but this pandemic has just glued us together, and we just feel like this is good. Like, this is good. Like, if we can make it through this and the other stuff, this global pandemic ain't got nothing on us. But I know that that's not the case for many. So I like to share that story because there are some rainbows that are going to be born out of this. And I'm just super excited to be a part of that and to share that there's some good stuff. There's some good stuff. There's some good stuff coming out of this. Yeah. We just have to remain committed, consistent, and find a little bit of joy in the turmoil and the drama and the kids screaming. Because honestly, I don't care if my son come out of this room 5 or 6 times. It's whatever now. I used to be like, shh, and hiding. And now I'm like, they're like, who is that? I'm like, oh, that's my 10-year-old. You want to meet him? Like, I don't care anymore. And that relieved me of that pent up, oh, she has to be corporate. No, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I got to cook. I have to do homework. Oh, and by the way, I'm also a business owner and, a corporate person. So I learned to shift my priorities, and now my priorities are them. And when I did that, everything else just fell in place.
That's awesome. If anyone, one of the things I wanted, and I appreciate both of you all being very honest about how the pandemic has brought you guys together, which is why I'm grateful to be here. So before we go into this, because I was hoping you all were going to say that it has been good, right? I was hoping that. I mean, some people could say it has been bad, but I kind of knew some of y'all that it would be good, and that you all would find the joy in it. So what I do want us to do, all of them, I asked them to bring their glass. So I know I've got Teresa with water. I know, Krista, you can only toast with water. Chef, you got a mug. But I do want us all to raise our glasses for being resilient for ourselves, okay? Because for that, I just want to toast to all of you. I know we all can't be together, but we can certainly toast together so that
cheers, ladies.
Cheers. This is a holiday beverage because we are in the holiday season, and so we cannot lose the spirit and the joy of the holiday season and making sure. So can I just take my sip? I'll take my sip.
And can I just say, y'all cute. I'm just missing. Y'all just cute.
beautiful Black woman on here.
You know, I said this. I was like, well, you know, folks look at the bid. It was like, oh, somebody sent me a message. Oh,
Yeah, we cute.
I mean, you know, but Black girls, that's what we do, right? Black girls and brains and the ability to really come together and empower one another. I mean, to me, that's just cute, right?
Yes.
So cute.
Yes.
So I want to move into a little bit, Teresa, into e-commerce. We want to talk about your business, how it's grown in the pandemic. You talked about it. Were you prepared to have a go-to strategy? And I say that because in the midst of the pandemic, you started in July. And so going to market, for those that don't know, it means that when you start a business, you need to have a go-to strategy, okay? You need to know what's your strategy to launch into, you know, your followers, your advocates, or, you know, from that standpoint. And so for that, Teresa, you know, for an online business, right? You've got all these retail shops that are closing, shrinking, and going down, but knowing, and then the other part of it is that, are we still shopping, right? And so people are still shopping. People are still buying. I mean, I don't know about you all. I've actually gone to the mall, I think once or twice. And I was just like, oh, okay, everybody's still moving around. So I know that it does happen. So Teresa, were you prepared to have a go-to strategy even when you started in July?
So absolutely. So one thing that you know about me is that I have an MBA from the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. So business is what I do. My undergraduate degree is in business as well. So launching a business, knowing how things operate is the fabric of my being, right? So I didn't do that lightly. So my go-to strategy is one that I use for every fabric of business that I do, whether I'm launching a new service line or whether I'm working for a startup organization. I use the Eli Lilly model for everything that I do. And I've been successful at it. So, of course, you guys know Prozac, the medication, the antidepressant from Eli Lilly. So it went on the market. It got approved by the FDA, I want to say sometime in the 80s, maybe 1987, in December of 1987. And then they launched it the following year in 1988. So what they did to get this new drug on the market is they started marketing that drug before they went live about 7 or 8 months before they went live. And so this way, when they were ready to go live in January, only thing they had to do was call up their contacts. Everybody already knew what Prozac was. It was creating buzz in the industry, and everybody is talking about this new drug from Eli Lilly. I remember that from a case study that I did in undergrad, and that has been the most helpful thing for my life. It's been allowed me to be successful in the company that I am now, because just like Ingrid, I am corporate and a business owner, and it's allowed me to be successful. So what I did with the Chaldean Corporation is took that same Eli Lilly model. That's why I started advertising my business in May, and I didn't go live to it in January. So I had the ads because I wanted to see which ads were going to work, which ads weren't going to work.
Yes, Teresa.
Yes, I was marketing on Facebook. You guys know Ingrid's one of my Facebook friends as well. You see me posting. You saw me figuring it out. I reached out to my girlfriends. I said, hey, Larvetta, you were one of the ones I reached out to. And I said, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. I had a conference call with my girlfriends, a couple of my sisters. And I said, go through this website, critique it, tell me everything on this website that would allow me to be vulnerable, and how can I get that done? So in May, once I started advertising, I took May, June, and July and worked out the kinks that all of my friends hit me with, all of my family members told me to do, and that's how I was able to go live successfully. So I took that strategy that I've always used from Eli Lilly. I probably owe them some money, but that's how I've been able to be successful. So I'm grateful for the friendships that I have. I'm grateful for the opportunities. And so from May, June, and July, I just ran ads. I had an advertising company that did digital marketing, and I ran ads because in sales, as everyone knows, people may not buy until they see your brand more than once. It typically takes about 12 to 15 times before they see your brand, before they actually purchase. So I knew that, I knew that they were going to need to see my brand. So I took that time and started running ads. And by the time I got to July, now people were purchasing from me. I got orders in the month of July. I got orders in the month of August. I got orders in the month of September. And come September, I got an astronomical amount of orders. And then I started getting more and more. So I started following the trend that was going on in the e-commerce industry. So what I would like to do is kind of take you to what you said earlier, Larvetta, about people still shopping and people still spending. So when it comes to the e-commerce, so the first 6 months of 2020, people spent $347 billion online. And that was up from $266 billion just the same time frame the year before in 2019. So every quarter in 2020, e-commerce was going up by 30%. Yeah, it was going up by 30%. And now I'm even following that same trend of e-commerce going up like 30% month over month. So I'm at 20-something% of my sales from September. Then October, I'm at another 20%, and then November. So it's been a phenomenal thing to see that e-commerce has been trending in this direction, and me starting out as a new organization as well, trending in that same direction. So it's been good, because typically e-commerce will trend like 12% month over, but because of COVID and the crisis, everyone is home, and so now people don't want to go out. So what are they doing? E-commerce. So, unfortunately, I was displaced, because now we're trying to figure out what can we do. We're working from home. But the fortunate piece was I said, hey, I've always wanted to launch a store online, and I was able to do it. So, kind of like Ingrid, hey, I'm happy that I was able to sit down, because then when I was able to sit down, now I'm able to make my dreams come true. And now I have the time to do the things that I need to do to work for myself. Because of course, as you know, COVID exposed a lot of vulnerabilities in every facet, in every industry. And so now this allowed me to say, okay, should my company shut down? How can I still feed my children? And I feel like I've been able to do that with e-commerce.
Yeah. And you've owned a lane that's, to me, I mean, you've done the research. I say that all the time, is we have to research. Oh, yeah. And I don't think we do enough of that. To have a case study and share. So for business leaders, when you're launching, it's incredible, but case studies still from the 80s are still relevant. In fact, they're more relevant now than ever, because we need to get back to basics. We need that. So, funny enough, I'm going to shift to Tiffany, because obviously food is different, right? Food delivery has shifted, right? Yeah. And food is a place where we have conversation and love. And I mean, food is where we bring people together, and you do that. But now we have been robbed a little bit of that, right? Because I got to go pick it up and put it in my car and get it home and warm it up. Like, that whole experience has been robbed. So for you, Chef Tiffany, how is the food delivery, shifted, and how are you as a chef of a, cafe, as well as a full service catering business? How have you had to pivot to make sure that experience is not taken away?
Well, we definitely were one of the ones displaced. So we lost our business completely, 100%. That week in March, it was my birthday. March 13th was my birthday. So it's a birthday I'll never forget. It was the day that we were told, hey, shut the city down, close it all up. I'm like, okay. But prior to that, all of our orders were canceled. They were all asked to be stated for a later date, which ended up canceling. Refunds were requested for events. So we lost all of our business right at the start of the pandemic. All of my staff, I had to let them go. And I already had a restaurant that we opened and closed. So we were in a recovery process from that piece. And I was just at a place of, I don't even want to do this anymore. I shut it down. I said, I don't even want to do this anymore. I'm going to go get a job. I'm going to get a great job. I had already taken another gig as a chef on the road. I was supposed to go out with BTS. I was super excited about that, and that could have turned to a global opportunity. And I said, well, I'm just going to go do that. I don't want to deal with business anymore. And I got so many calls from so many great friends saying, what are you doing, chef? What are you doing? Can you start cooking again? People are tired of cooking. Hey, I don't want to cook. Can you cook, please? That's what you do. And people were calling and saying, could you just do it? Could you just cook? Could you send me a meal? I'm tired of cooking for these kids, and that's how it started for me. I took my children into the kitchen, my teenagers who work for me. Yes, Ingrid, that tax right off. And I said, we had the realest conversation ever. And I said, I don't know if I could curse, so I'm not going to say it, but I was like, look, this is not mommy's business anymore. This is not what mommy loves to do. We got to do this. We need to make it out on the other side. And this is our income. We don't have any money coming in. This is what I do. And look, either I'm going to go buy these groceries and cook for people, or I'm going to buy groceries and cook for us. But we need money coming in. We got to pay bills. The bills aren't going to go anywhere. And my kids, I think that conversation, and I said it a little harsher. my 11-year-old was in here weighing pasta. and we were just making food, and people were buying, and it turned into people, larger organizations saying, oh, you guys got meals, can you send them to first responders? And it happened so much that I was able to hire my staff back, that we were able to start business again. And since the start of the pandemic, we've done over 30,000 meals partnering with organizations. So that changed everything that I did in my business, and brought back the love of my business, because I stopped loving it for a long time. Even though I love food and cooking and the connections that it creates, I got tired of the business side of it, and I was ready to be done with it. I said, I'll just be a chef, and I'll be okay with that. And I make really good money as a chef, and I don't want to do this business thing anymore. But the love for feeding my community outshined all of that. And it gave us this vision of no one goes to sleep hungry, which we've been able to partner with nonprofits. We launched our e-commerce and our online platform. And while it's slow, it's still, like you said, that start of getting the information out there, because all of that has been to say, hey, we're going to actually have a space to come to, when this is over. So we want to start pitching that out now, and applying to third parties, which we're going to do in January. We're starting meal prep, which is something that I know personally I didn't want to add to my business, but it's a side that's a desired side for us. So we're going to be doing meal prep starting in January, where people could come in, or they can have delivery of meals made for the week. So it's totally shifted us. Everybody.
But what I hear, Tiffany, was this, and this is where we have to realize in this pandemic, is that we have to be okay with pivoting, right? We have to be okay with it. And pandemics creates us to pivot and be okay with it, because at that moment you were like, I'm done, I'm this, but it created a whole nother level or new meaning for your business and that passion. Because people believe that you're passionate about something doesn't mean that you don't cry and be upset about it. You can
crying, love it.
You cry a lot, and you say, but there's a difference with what I say with entrepreneurs, is that we cry, but we don't quit.
Yes. Right.
So that keeps us in the game. That don't mean we don't cry, but it definitely says we quit. So I am going to move to Krista, because one of the things that Krista, you said, and I totally believe this with all my heart, because that's what I say. You have to stay a student in the business. As soon as you stop being a student, I just believe you allow things to come and pass you by, because you have to arm yourself and equip yourself to make sure that you understand trends in the industry and all those things. And so, Krista, you talked a bit about, during this pandemic, I took some classes, I took some training, I did some stuff. Was that something for you as having a consulting professional service business? Was that a shift for you, or was that something that you were already doing? Was that something you're just like, oh, yep, I need to do this because the pandemic told me to do this? Or, was that your shift, or was that something you were already planning before the pandemic hit?
I had no plans for that before the pandemic. I'm so thankful that the pandemic happened, because if it were not for the pandemic, I would have not have had the time to take those courses and training. Another great thing about the pandemic, so I was doing a lot of in-person events. I had gotten away from my digital work because I probably meeting the wrong clients who didn't understand the importance of the digital space. So what the pandemic has done is help for every business to understand, I do need to be online. And a lot of businesses, like you said earlier, who have been in business for years, did not understand the value or need for that going into 2020. And another positive about the pandemic is that in those classes and courses, and me losing all my clients when the pandemic started, what I said earlier, switched to working to come up with more products, to have more streams of income, to grow the different resources and revenue streams and opportunities. To also, one thing about being a service, I can only service so many people at once, but me creating tools and resources allows me to be able to help so many more people, and to also improve my business and help me to create more processes and systems that I could just refer back to because I already put it together in a
I'm
product.
glad that you mentioned products, because as a professional service, company, right? We don't, people always say, well, what can I buy from you? And I'm like, you can always send us a referral, you can always do that. But I do think that the product side is important, and products can now come digitally, right? You can sell a webinar, you can sell, you can record yourself and you can sell that. And so we now have those as products, ebooks, e-learning tools. We have a number of things that we can sell as products, even as professional services, because for some clients, right, we need to train our clients before they can really work with us, because they don't have any idea what the professional service business is. And sometimes people don't understand that really you're paying for access. Let's be real, right? They're paying for access to you. And so here, I can give you this, ebook, and hey, go learn a little bit and come back to me when you're ready. So I definitely think that you bringing up having those multiple streams of income, and I'm going to say this, is making sure that you have an omni-channel to serve your customers in their journey, because everybody is at a different journey every time. So for that, so this is the time that I've been waiting for, is, I wish I had a drum roll, but I don't. So we're going to fake it. But it is a drum roll. I want to talk about your 5 work lists. So for many of us, it's the wish list, right? Amazon got it. Well, everybody had this wish list. It's the list that everybody's got to go out and get and chase down, right? So I said, okay, these are powerful women. These are, literally boss babes. They've got to have a work list. They got to have a list of 5 things that they're working towards. And let me be clear. It could be working towards, it ain't gonna happen all the way in 21. It might not happen in 22, but it's your work list. And this is something that people need to have as your work list. It's crazy, guys. I have a book that I bought years ago, and it's called 5 Years from Now. So anybody knows I'm a journal junkie. Like, I love journals. That's all I do it's like my happy place. So I wrote in there, this book is probably 5 years ago. I listed all this stuff. Well, here we are. 5 years later, a lot of the stuff that I wrote in there has occurred, but I wrote it in there. I didn't put a time. I just said, this is what's going to happen, right? But it was my 5 list. It was list of 5. So I said, I'm going to roll with 5, because that was my 5 list of what was working. So that's why we would have said 3, guys, because 3 is my favorite number, but we're going to roll with 5 just because I based it off that book. And, those 5 things really did happen and occur. So I'm going to go to Tanya to ask you, what's your number 5? What's your 5 things on your work list?
Well, if I may, there's one thing I wanted to add, if I may, Marvetta. So we're talking about multiple streams of income and how important they are. With our businesses, I have to share that one of our businesses is not doing well at all. It is closed. It is a sports multiplex, right? And I said, why is it that I'm still, I'm still moving, I'm still trying, I'm still striving? Well, because I have these other streams of income that are supporting this one business. Because we have a sports multiplex in Hyde Park that, has basketball and sports for children in the community, but we can't operate. But we still have to pay rent, right?
Yeah.
So you have to pay gas. The only thing we're able to do is to offer for community organizations who want to, especially during the holidays, they're using our facility to be able to donate, to process their items and, really for services for the community, which is still a cost to us. But I think for us, it's important to be able to give back to the community. However, I am still a businesswoman. We are still losing money every single day, every day that it operates, right? Or that the gas or electric is on, and we still having to pay rent. And that is still a problem. I may cry, but I don't quit. And that's what you said. And you said that. I said, she spoke that to me, right? Because it is really hard knowing that I have this financial burden, right? But luckily I have the other businesses. So what I will say is so important that you can not only pivoting, but having multiple streams of income. So I just had to say that because, I thought about it. Not everyone's business is going well right now, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And some people, luckily, many of us have different streams and avenues. And for me, I have multiple businesses, but there's someone who's watching who is not doing well at all, right? And so they have to figure it out. But I'm going to tell you one thing I did. When the multiplex wasn't doing well, I said, let me call the people who do Christmas trees. Do you guys want to put Christmas trees in our parking lot? Do you want to have a pop-up? Let me try to figure out what ways I can still make some money. And that's been a huge focus for me. So that takes me into the fives. So I'm sorry I had to.
No.
It's good, right? It's not all a bed of roses.
I know that's right.
And look, anybody who knows me, I will share and I will give money, but I don't like losing money.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
But let me tell you, so when I think about the things, my ancestors, I spend a lot of time now, and I talked to Larvetta about this, looking on ancestry.com and talking to relatives and friends about my ancestors to be able to understand what they've been through in life. So I want a greater connection with them. Many of them I haven't met. I want to understand who they were, and maybe that will help me to understand better who I am, what I'm capable of, what has happened before me. And then, so that's one of them. My ancestry is really, really one of my important things that I'm going through. I don't know if I'm really answering the five in the way that you were envisioning, Larvetta, but these are the things that have been big, heavy for me. Let me tell you another thing, y'all. Everybody needs to talk to some kind of therapist to check in, okay? Everyone is experiencing sexism, racism, husbandism, kidism, somethingism. You need to check in. You will find, and this is one of the things that I found in this pandemic, I found things about myself. It's about myself. It's about me, no one else. About growing, developing, learning about me, figuring out what makes me better, what makes me happy. And it has really changed my interactions with people because it's not about them and how they are treating me or what they're doing to me. It's how I am presenting myself and allowing myself to live and to be comfortable in that. So that's important. That's another important one. I will say another one is financial. Let me tell you this. If all of you, I bet you all of you on the phone have talked to your girlfriends about a guy that you've met and how you feel about him. Do you talk to your girlfriends like that about money, about investments, about the stock market, about your dreams and whether you want to purchase real estate? What your portfolio is going to look like. Do you guys sit down and really talk about, what, have you seen that such and such stock? Can't say the names, right? Because I don't want anybody to think I'm endorsing any stock. But that's one of the things that I'm doing more is talking about finance, not only with my girlfriends, with my parents, my in-laws, anyone who wants to talk about money and finance. It's important to have those conversations so you can learn and grow, right? So then I'll say the financial, the legacy with my children. That's important. The legacy in terms of they have the choice to determine who they want to be. A good friend of mine, Bonnie Simpson Mason, told me that this is their time to decide who they want to be. And I have to allow them that opportunity for growth. I can't just keep telling them what to do. And that's why when we talk about the business, Ingrid, like you, I had someone setting up the computer, the lights, everything. That's important. But they need, and you know what else I told them? I told them I was nervous. You know what they said? It's okay to be nervous, but you're going to keep on, you're going to do a good job. And I realize that's because that's what I tell them. I want to express everything that I'm feeling. We don't want our children to feel that everything is so easy and you just go through it. Let them know what's going on in your life, right? That's so important. And then I will say, am I in 5 yet? Having a tribe. Let me tell you, I have a tribe of good wives, and I mean that I can talk to about everything, anything and everything whenever I need it. You have to have that tribe to support you.
5 o'clock.
To let you off the hook, to say, you know what, it's okay if I need a nap today, and let everybody figure out what they're going to do. So you need a tribe. Those are things, the 5 things I'll say that are important to me.
And I appreciate, Tanya, that you gave it in the way that you see it. And I think that that's what people need to see. The 5 list isn't, we have to stop comparing ourselves to others and create our own work list. And that's why I said Amazon can have it, well, everybody can have it, but Tanya is a brand and she can have it. And it's okay that it doesn't look like Amazon. It's like you were like, it's probably not what you want. It ain't about me. It's about making sure that people can understand that you can have a work list that includes your family, right? We think the work list has to include, right, the things in our business, that it can't, be, the love of our life or whatever. People don't see the other side of, and I like when Teresa talked about the vulnerability of it. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to do that. So I'm going to move to Ingrid. Ingrid, to ask you your 5 work list. And the good side is we record this. So we can you can come back to this and say, in 5 years, I was able to do that, right? I mean, that's the beauty of this whole technology, because you can go back and check yourself. I'm just saying.
Right. I've always had a list. I've lived my life with lists. And then a few years ago, I just threw it out because for some reason the list wasn't working. And I realized last year why my list wasn't working, because I was so trained to think profit that I wasn't talking about my passion. And it was, what did Ingrid want to do? What is good for me at this moment? What is good for me in the next few years? And it was just always so methodical that I never took a step back and put like the vulnerable, side of me doing what I do into my business. And so I have to say the first one is really chasing my passion over profit. And I can tell you that when I made a conscious decision to do what I loved, which, by the way, was probably already in me at the age of 6 when I was running numbers from Big Mama, I realized that was truly where my gift was, and that my gift was actually making more room for me that I had the capacity to hold. And when I realized that, it blew my mind. And so I have to say, first is for everybody. I mean, I think the best example that I can give about chasing your passion over profit is look at D Nice. D Nice has been a DJ for 30 plus years. And he got on IG just because he loves music. And that was appealing for what was happening, because he was so used to being in crowds of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. So he just went in his living room and started spinning. And now he's the People of the Year, and he's on the Grammys, and he has got more exposure during a pandemic in his entire career.
Yeah.
And because he was passionate about it. So those of you that are out there that love to do something, go after it, because your gift will truly make room and get you into any room that you want to be in. The second is, I have to agree with Tanya, is a therapist. I tell everybody need a couch to sit on. You need a couch. Get you a couch, because I'm going to tell you, last year when I went through my grieving, and I'm still grieving, but that couch that I sat on, I could have been in the corner balled up with my thumb in my mouth had I not had somebody to talk to. And so I think even that prepared me for the pandemic, because I was emotionally sound.
Okay.
I think the third one is really helping my son know that it's okay to be emotional. Like, this has been a tough season for our kids. And it's so easy for us to say, boys don't cry and tough it up. And I had to not do that. I had to not be that parent and just say, let him feel the way he want to feel. Because if I cry, if I'm mad, if I'm upset, then he's gonna, he has a right to feel the way he feels. And when I gave him room, he was stronger than me. He was like, Mom, we got this. And I'm like, we do. I can't believe we got this. So I think having the capacity to let our kids make emotional decisions for them and not judge them on those decisions is really important. And I don't know if that's 3 or 4 emotional therapists, my passion. The biggest one for me is just dreaming. Now, when I was a corporate strategist for GE, I led dreaming sessions, Black Belt certified, Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma, all that good stuff. And I led dreaming sessions, and I would lead sessions where the president of the division or the leadership team would get all of their direct reports in a room, and we would black out the conference room windows, and we would tell them, if you were the leader of this organization, what would you change and what would you invest in? And we were like, give us the wildest, craziest thing that you could ever think of that would make this organization the best. And so what I've learned is I have to also dream for myself and write those dreams down. And if those dreams match my passion, then I have to make room to commit to do those things. And so I'm excited because I have my dream book, and I'm going after it. And so those are my things. I don't know if that's 5.
I love it. I am going to now move to Tiffany. Tell me your 5 work lists. And for those that are just tuning in, we are talking about 5 things as it relates to our work list. This isn't based on us getting it done by next week, by next month. This is our work list. And what I'm hearing from all of the 3 or 2 that have shared is that this is who they are, and they will continue to work through this. This isn't a time where they're like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this by this. They're showing up 100% about who they are. And I think that's beautiful. So again, it can be whatever you want, but Tiffany, you hit your 5 work lists.
So I'll start off with what's been the most important that I learned this year. I traveled this year during this pandemic, and I traveled to New York with my children and almost the whole East Coast, because we went to Washington for the March on Washington, and that was our first trip. And then we just drove. I said, let's go to New York, and we stayed in New York for a week and a half. And so that was so eye-opening for me, because I'm a single mother of 3, and I had never taken my children to travel like that before. It was my first time on a plane with my children. I'm living that you can have things and you can do things too. So that's part of it, walking in purpose, and my legacy, and walking and really, really not being afraid to show myself. Being live a little bit more. I've been doing that a little bit more, and teaching people, which is one of my passions. But making sure that my children understand that I'm trying to leave them a legacy, and that's what I'm working toward. And which leads into number 2, being a generational disruptor for my family. And that includes generational wealth, starting, with me, and showing them, hey, you can reach 6 figures and beyond, and those are not big numbers. Don't be intimidated by them. So, that's part of what I've learned about myself this year, and just accepting that. And also, while in New York, I saw this great sign that was in the restaurant, in the bathroom of the Airbnb stayed in. And it said, it's okay to be happy. And I read it every morning, and I'm like, you know what? I deserve to be happy. No, it said, you deserve to be happy. And I said, I do deserve to be happy. You know what? I worked really, really hard. I worked really, really hard for a lot of people. And, you know, for my kids and for my employees and, you know, for my friends, if they call, I'm there. And I'm like, you know what, you deserve to be happy. And so everything that I've been doing is making sure that I'm happy with what I'm doing. And it has taken away the negative space tremendously for me. And then I'm happy in a relationship. I know. So, you know, working toward being happy in a relationship. I'm putting in the work to be happy in a relationship, and it's been beautiful. So I smile a lot more.
I love this vulnerability, ladies. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm sorry. Okay. All right.
I know. We'll show pictures later. I don't know if I'm that vulnerable yet, but we have a trip coming up to Cancun that got moved from January to March, and now it's on my birthday weekend. And I'm like, okay, I guess we'll show pictures then. But
and if you don't, it's okay. It's your happiness.
Right, exactly.
It's your happiness.
My happiness. Exactly. Yeah. So if it doesn't go in line with the happiness of my coaches and therapists and everything, it doesn't matter. And then the last big audacious, I'm going to put it here because I can go back and view this. You know, the point of this cafe, the point of me starting this cafe is to have a space in the community and to show that people from my community, my color, that look like me, you know, from low income, you know, family can build items and build businesses. And, you know, this cafe is going to be a testament to that. And big audacious dream is the cafe that's going to start up and be successful. And we're going to apply for the Obama Library to have a cafe in there. And we're going to get a cafe in there when it builds. So I'm putting it out there right now.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to high five that one.
Bring
on it.
What's crazy is that all these women that's here can help you get there. That's why God allowed for us to be here.
I got Tanya's. I'm already like, I need to schedule an appointment with Tanya. Ingrid, definitely advocating for the hospitality industry. Bring me along.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's how we have to put ourselves out there to be able to allow, and I'm going to keep this, to own the seat that you're in. And that's your purpose. And own it. And you can have folks that will help you get there. That's something for women. You know, that's a journey for us, asking for help, right? So to be able to do this, so I'm going to go pivot to Teresa. Teresa, your 5 list.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so with me, I mean, I was just so blown away and like in awe with Tiffany that I forgot I was even a part of the program. So, but my 5 things is the biggest thing for me, like at the point of my life now, is I'm on financial freedom and I'm on family, right? So of course, when you talk about those generational wealth and building those multiple streams of income, that's where I am in my life right now. And that's the reason I still keep my corporate job. Of course, I enjoy what I do at my corporate job, and I'm helping so many people. So I'm hoping that in some capacity, I'll always work here, even when I have reached that financial freedom, just because I'm in a position that most people aren't, and I feel like it's important for Black women to be in this position. So
absolutely, we need advocates, Teresa, and that's what you are. You are an advocate, and we need those inside.
I agree. So that's why I have to be here. So, but my 5 things. The first things is on the line of family. I'm building a time capsule. So I'm building a time capsule for my children and for my grandchildren. Because I don't mean to brag, but I've had a pretty wonderful life. Like I've been to China, I've been to Japan, I've been to London, I've been to Paris. Of course, we've all been to all of the islands, and there's still some other places that I want to go. And I want to scrapbook those things for my children. So, and my grandchildren will be able to see like, whoa, grandma went to the Great Wall of China, like grandma went to the Eiffel Tower, grandma is in front of the picture of the Mona Lisa. Like I've done all those things. Yeah. And just because I put forth the effort. So chef, you ready to travel? Like that's my favorite thing in the world to do. And then I spent like 15 years of my life as a model. Like I have so many pictures of me, like ads that I've done. I've done ads for Carson Perry Scott. I've done ads for, Soft Sheen. So I'm putting together like these scrapbooks just so my children, my grandchildren, and even my nieces and nephews will be able to see like, whoa, Auntie accomplished all these things. And then they know that those are things that they can do as well. So that's one of the biggest things that I'm working on is I'm putting together this time capsule for my family. I'm trying to figure out, I'm working on it now. And then another thing, so my number 2 is I love to cook. So I'm putting together a recipe book of like all of my favorite recipes that my family love for me to cook. And I've put it all into a book. So this way, my family will always be able to access it. And my nieces and nephews, I spend a lot of time with them, just as much as I spend with my children. They'll know how to make the recipes that they request me to make all the time. So I'm putting together a recipe book. It'll just be for my family. I don't plan on selling it unless the Lord, moves me in a different direction. But that's not my goal. It's really something that I want to do for my family. So number 3 is I am working on scaling my e-commerce business. Like, this has been so cool. I ordered some books on scaling. One of the books I ordered was about branding, becoming an influencer, like exploding your growth and things of that nature. So I'm working on building and expanding my brand for the e-commerce business. So my number 4 is I actually just yesterday, so when I saw this list, I was just like, whoa. So just yesterday, I put in a bid. I'm looking to buy a low time commitment franchise that's just to add to this additional, line stream of income. And I put in a bid for 3 different organizations on yesterday, hoping that I'll get one. And if I get all 3, then that's the work of the Lord, right? That's the work of the Lord. And I'm going to figure out where that money is going to come from for me to pay. So Ingrid, I may be calling you like, help me with the PPP. So I just put it in on yesterday. So hopefully in a couple of weeks, I'll know if I get one of those bids for the franchise that I just put in to build. And my number 5, most importantly, that I think should be something for like all of us as Black women, is I am making a conscious decision to eat healthier. So that's been my thing. I've been watching my, salt intake, been watching everything that I've eaten, making sure I'm drinking more water, trying to, make sure I'm not eating too much fried food, even though that didn't work out today. I had some chicken, but that's important to me. And I need to make sure that I'm putting that at the forefront of my life, especially now that I'm getting older. Like, I'm 45 years old. Like, I can't eat fried chicken and the Hershey bar for a snack. Like, I need to make a conscious decision that all of my meals are coming with fruits and vegetables. It's coming with, things that are, reduced fat and things of that nature. So me being healthy for 2021, I am making a conscious decision to make sure I'm eating right and living healthy.
I'm loving it.
Very good.
I say that I'm loving all the diversity in our work list and really finding ways to balance ourselves. So Krista, what's your 5 work list?
So eliminating the idea of perfectionism and just showing up with sloppy progress to get to that, what I'm actually supposed to be doing. I've created a lot of projects or pitches. I've created whole conferences that I was afraid to actually show to someone because I didn't think it was perfect. And I'm not just myself missed out on opportunities, but if I had moved forward with some of these things, I probably would have created more spaces for more people to be blessed. So just getting rid of that idea of perfectionism and trying to show up better than everyone else, because that's what we're often taught as Black women growing up. And with a lot of the family that people were talking about in legacy building, I have been also doing research into my family, learning about my deceased mother and grandmother. And with that, I'm also planning on creating a docuseries surrounding my family and this home that we inherited from my grandmother near the Obama Center, and talking about how the Obama Foundation in South Shore has been like a black belt for Black people and its impact on Chicago. I think a lot of people see South Shore now as not the greatest place because of all the violence, but South Shore is so important to the entire ecosystem of Illinois, which in turn, I don't know if people know this, but Illinois is one of the wealthiest states in the country, and we have one of the higher economies in the world. So Illinois is a powerhouse, and South Shore is a big part of why we are. So telling that story in the Black community behind that built that is something that I'm working on. And also being able to tell the story of my family to my children, leaving that legacy behind. And so similar to what was talked about, just following my purpose. I used to want to do things that would generate funds and not necessarily landed in what my purpose actually is. So really nailing down on what I'm supposed to be doing and understanding that my purpose will provide the finances. So sticking to that and staying true to that, even if it doesn't make sense to everyone else, it's not for everyone else, it's for me to do.
That's right.
And with that, I guess my fourth is following the visions that God gives me, because he gives us the answers, and then we go and talk to people who aren't connected to him or he didn't give that to.
Come on.
It's out of it. So,
That's it right there.
yeah, so I am really, and that's one of the things I'm thankful for the pandemic. I'm a church girl. My dad's a pastor. I've been in church all my life, all the time. Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday. So not being in church has actually been able to help me build my own spiritual journey on my own and really getting that understanding. So continuing in that, even when the pandemic is over and we go back to church. And to stop letting old ideals that are rooted in lack or having to ask for permission to prevent me from moving forward. Because who are these people who are giving me permission? They aren't my God.
Come on.
So, and they don't know everything, and they don't truly know me or what I see. So, yeah, stopping to letting those old values that held women back, that held Black people back, or held poor people back from keeping me from going after what I really want.
Wow.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this, Krista. Wow. And I say wow to all of you all, because what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all this down. Some of you all I did and I stopped writing, but I am going to, because I'm a journal junkie, and I'm gonna take this down and I'm gonna put it in my journal, because I do believe that my journal is blessed. And I'm gonna ask the Lord to cover all of this, because I just believe that in you all's authenticity to be able to share this evening with me, I think is powerful. And I think that you all were extremely vulnerable, and the world hasn't seen business leaders and, you know, and entrepreneurs really become vulnerable. Like, they just see us working, like, oh, you got to be boss, you got to be this, you got to be hot, you got to be fly, you got to be this. No, we cry, right? You know, we struggle.
But we don't quit.
But that's it, and we don't quit. And so what has happened is that for all of you all who are doing corporate work, both you, Ingrid, Teresa, you know, I appreciate you guys, because one of the things that I love most about both of you all is that you are advocates, both of you all, inside advocating for this and being true to who your authentic self as it relates to being a corporate executive and still running a business. You know, and I don't think.
Can I just add something to that, Larvetta? Because most oftentimes people think it's and or, and it doesn't have to be. It can be both.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we're living in a time where in many households, it has to be both.
Yeah.
You can't rely on one income to do the things that you need to do, or why rely on one source to feed your family? I mean, it's just as simple as that. I cannot afford, and I'm not saying, I'm just saying, I can't afford to allow one company to determine the destiny of my family.
That's right.
Like, I owe it to my family to make sure that our finances are diversified. I owe it to them. And so, not that I don't love corporate. As a matter of fact, I'm in corporate because I'm a structured person. If you give me too much time, that's going to be a problem. Like, I need that structure to keep me focused and to keep me excited And so when I have too much time on my hands, it's just a hot mess. Like I'm drinking and kicking. Like you see a whole different side of it. Like I need somebody to be like, so where were you at? Like I need that. Like a lot of people don't know that about me, but I need that. That's where I thrive. But I'm also smart enough to know that the life that I want to live and the life that I want to be able to build with my husband and the legacy that we're creating, it's going to require more. And we all have more to give. We just have to figure out what that more is.
Yeah. And Ingrid, speaking from you all, then I look at Tanya, Tiffany, right, and Krista, who are entrepreneurs, is that what people also just understand is that while we have a business, we have multiple streams of income, right? And sometimes people put us in a box because we have this one business. And so we expand in a separate business, whether it's a product business or whatever. But what happened to this? Yeah, I still got that too. I mean, I still got that and this and that. But as this one not going so well, to Tanya's point, I'm using those other two streams to bring us along. And I think that, sometimes people don't understand that. So for those that are tuning in, if you've got another business inside of you, maybe that business is going to help you in the other business. It's okay if that business is kind of, what I like to call it is that if you put it on a shelf, it's part of your story. And sometimes the shelf life has ended, and it's okay to put it on the shelf and leave it there, but it's still part of the story. All of you all have shared, it's still part of the story. You don't leave it out. I love when Teresa said, I'm giving a times capsule. It's still part of each one of our stories that you get to tell your children. Like mommy started off as this. My mother, started in corporate, landed, has her own business. It's part of your story. And I think that we don't see that enough. So, ladies.
Larvetta,
yes.
If I can really quickly, to your point, when I left my corporate job as an executive chef, as a general manager, I worked part-time at the Green Line Coffee, which is the coffee shop that I'm actually going to be taking over. It's Exquisite 501. I was driving Lyft at the same time. I was teaching cooking classes out in Deerfield as a chef personally. I was traveling and going on the road as a chef. I was doing Exquisite catering and events, and then Southside Suits by Exquisite, and then Exquisite Meal. So multiple streams of income, but they know of one business. So to your point, yes, you're exactly right.
Like sometimes people say, I just say hustling is just our name. We just know how to hustle, right? You just got to know how to hustle. But I also say now I got to learn how to rest because, sometimes all this hustling, I need to learn how to rest.
Yeah, I'm not taking no sleep anymore. I learned that. Taking no sleep is not fun.
Hey, so
I love
my sleep. So I want to just say for all of you all, thank you. Thank you for sitting at the table today and owning your table. I appreciate you guys for being here. As you all know, of course, Ingrid, when I started this in April, it's just my passion. I'm not doing it to make any money. I'm not doing it to get a sponsor. I literally did it because I didn't want for Black people to not understand that there are other Black leaders that look like you that can give you information. I mean, we've talked about SBA lending. We've talked Black women's health. We've talked about storytelling. I mean, we've had a number of people who have come on here from both Chicago, where I'm from, to other places, and to be able to share a wealth of information. And we didn't have that platform. So that was why I started it. Had no vision to make any money. It was literally to bring thought leaders like you all to the table, because what I have said for 4 years, and I've said it for 5 years, that the last shall be first and the first shall be last. I have said it for 5. I promise you, guys knows me. I have written it in my journal 100 times. And I believe that every lady that is here, that is your season to win. Okay. Okay, the pandemic has allowed for us, and so we get to win. This is what Black girl magic looks like, and you guys represent this. And I didn't quite know that how I wanted this to flow, because it was a little different. I told you I've got more guests than I've ever had, and so you guys were just awesome here on this holiday last show, because I think I'm doing this this is my last one of the year. I'm not coming back till 2021. So I just want to say thank you all for helping me to see that Black girl magic is powerful beyond the way that we see just beauty, right? We're beautiful, but what you all are about brains and about building wealth. And we just don't see enough of that. So I'm not going to say it doesn't happen. I just say we don't see enough of it. And so you all represent this. So for everyone that is tuning in, you know, continue to support these ladies, support them. I see, congratulations, ladies. I mean, people have been commenting. So I just wanted you all to know that you all have provided such a wealth of information, and I appreciate you all. So again, as we sign off, this is the first time we've ever gone over an hour and a half, but it was so priceless. So thank you all. Cheers, right? Merry Christmas. All that jazz, because right now it is. So cheers to everyone that's watching, who has a dream, who has a purpose. Cheers to 2021, 22. And I just want to say thank you all. So I'm gonna take my sip.
Cheers.
I get to be able to sip with you all, because I cannot sit with y'all. I can only sit with y'all. I can't sit with y'all literally. So I love you all.
Yes.
So, I love y'all. Like, I really
love you too,
Love
honey.
you. I want to do business with every single one of you. I want to.
Yes.
I already got a list for you, Miss Lord. Don't even worry about it. I got your handle.
And so I am going to sign off. Ladies, I'm going to take you guys out of stream. I'm going to make a few announcements, and then I just want to talk to you guys for 1 second, okay? So for all those who have tuned in to this evening, to our final show of the Crisis Currency Roundtable, thank you guys for tuning. We hope that you will continue to subscribe to the channel at YouTube. At my channel is Larvetta Lofton. There are more episodes. Again, use this holiday time, and it's some really nice, rich content that you may find valuable as you continue to pivot your business and as you continue to level up and dream. A lot of things that they provided were I just think amazing, because we've talked about this in a crisis. So thank you for tuning in this evening with me. Have a Merry Christmas.